I never thought a few words could completely change everything, but here I am, sitting in my apartment, staring at my phone like a fool. My name is Melissa, I'm 31 years old, and I thought I had a solid relationship with Aaron. We had been together for 5 years, living together for 3, and for the longest time, I honestly believed we could handle anything. Arguments, stress, disagreements. I thought we were the type of couple that could laugh through the storm. I thought I knew him. I thought I knew us. It all started on a Friday evening, nothing special, just a regular night at home. Aaron had been stressed at work, typing away on his laptop, his brow furrowed in concentration. I had just finished making dinner, our little ritual of cooking together after a long week, and I wanted to talk to him about something light, something to ease the tension. I figured now would be the perfect time to suggest that maybe we take a step back from the romantic part of our relationship, at least temporarily. I didn't mean it in a harsh way. In my mind, it was just a way to recalibrate and focus on ourselves as individuals. I think we should just be friends for a little while, I said casually, smiling as I set his plate in front of him. I expected a laugh, maybe a playful eye roll, something that would let me know he knew I was just joking or overthinking. But the look on his face froze me in place. Aaron's eyes went wide, his lips parted slightly, and for a moment, I thought he was going to laugh. But he didn't. He just stared at me. The calm, steady man I had come to love, the one who always seemed unshakable, looked like someone I didn't even know. Friends? He repeated, his voice low, steady, and eerily calm. Just friends? Yes, I said, trying to maintain a light tone. I mean, not forever, just, maybe we need space to think about what we want. I laughed nervously, brushing my hair behind my ear. Nothing serious, I just. Aaron held up his hand. No, he said, cutting me off. If that's what you want, then I understand. He didn't sound angry. He didn't raise his voice. But there was a finality in his tone that made my stomach drop. I blinked. Understand? Wait, what do you mean? I mean exactly that, he said. If you think we should be just friends, I will treat you exactly like a friend from now on. Something in me laughed, a nervous, disbelieving laugh. You're joking, right? You're not seriously. He didn't answer with words. He closed his laptop, slid it to the side, and stood up. I'm not joking, Melissa. If that's how you feel, then I need to respect it. His hands were calm, his posture relaxed, but the weight of what he was saying pressed down on me like a stone. I could feel my heart racing, a sudden, sickening rush of panic that I had never experienced before. Wait, I said, reaching for his arm. Aaron, we've been through so much. Don't do this over a comment. My voice cracked, betraying the panic I felt, and I realized too late that this wasn't just a comment anymore. This was him making a boundary, a decision, and I was the one who had crossed it. I've heard what you want, he said softly, his eyes calm but unreadable. From now on we are just friends. I'll respect your wishes. He walked past me, grabbed his coat, and left the apartment. Not angrily, not slamming doors, but with a quiet determination that left me reeling. The rest of that night, I sat on the couch staring at the blank television screen, unable to process what had just happened. My phone sat on the coffee table, and I kept glancing at it, half expecting a text, a message, anything that would indicate this was a misunderstanding. But the notifications remained empty. The next day was worse. Aaron didn't text, didn't call, didn't respond to my attempts to reach him. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe he just needed time, maybe this was his way of cooling down before we could laugh about it later. But as hours turned into days and days into a week, I realized with a sinking feeling that this wasn't temporary. I began scrolling through old messages, old photos, and old memories, trying to find a point where I could fix this, a single moment that would allow me to undo what I had said. But the truth was undeniable. He had taken me at my word. He wasn't angry, he wasn't dramatic. He was simply done with the dynamic that had left him feeling unappreciated, dismissed, and underestimated. Every conversation I tried to initiate now felt awkward and forced. I laughed nervously when he mentioned something casual, hoping he would see that I didn't really mean it, that my suggestion had been out of stress, not lack of care. But Aaron remained distant, polite, and precise. His silence was heavier than any argument we had ever had. His absence of reaction was louder than any shouting match. I started to notice things I had ignored before. The little signs of frustration that I had laughed off, the subtle withdrawals when I pushed jokes too far, the way he always accommodated my whims while quietly putting his needs aside. I realized that in all our years together, I had underestimated him, taken his patience for granted, and treated his quietness as a weakness. Then came the moment that broke me completely. I sent him a message, a long one, pouring out my thoughts, trying to explain myself, to negotiate my way back into the relationship I had taken for granted. I pressed send, waiting desperately for a reply, but it never came. I watched the screen, counting the minutes until I finally understood. He had cut me out completely. Not angrily, not vindicatively, but with a calm, deliberate finality that left no room for negotiation. I sat there, stunned, realizing that the problem had never been a single word or a joke. The problem had been me, my carelessness, my failure to respect the boundaries of the man I loved. He had shown me, in the quietest, most devastating way possible, that actions speak louder than words, that respect cannot be faked or begged for, and that sometimes the most permanent decisions are made without confrontation, without noise and without spectacle.